Thanks for joining us at xm.com for this Forex Preview video. I'm Cristina Marujas. Joining me today is Rafi Boyatian, Senior Investment Analyst. We'll be taking a closer look at the European Central Bank minutes out on a Thursday morning. Rafi, it's already known that there's a brewing conflict between the hawks and the doves in the ECB. Therefore, the minutes are likely to attract a lot of attention in order for investors to see where the ECB leans towards on weakening the euro and on further asset purchases. Are the minutes likely to be a game changer, though?
Well, Christina, so you made a very good point there. So we have seen a lot of mixed messages coming from the ECB lately. Now, whether or not the minutes will be a game changer, that remains to be seen. But definitely those conflicting views have been attracting a lot of attention lately. We've got some members who are arguing for a preemptive stimulus because we're already seeing a slowdown in the Eurozone recovery. And on top of that, inflation is extremely low. In fact, for the past 2 months, inflation has been negative in the euro area, so there is a risk of deflation. Those risks are building up, and also we've of course had that stronger euro since May, which isn't a good thing when the recovery is already pretty fragile. So a stronger currency basically makes exports more expensive and also reduces inflationary pressures, so all of which would not be good at a time when the economy is trying to recover. And the problem is now that Lagarde has a bit of a challenge, a bit of a job in her hands to try and align all the differing views because we're now reaching a point where the ECB would probably have to decide whether or not to provide additional stimulus or whether to perhaps scale back some of its stimulus. Most likely is the former, because of course the recovery isn't going as well as it had been earlier in the summer, and the pandemic is showing no sign of subsiding, and the restrictions will probably have to stay in place until at least the middle of next year, when a vaccine is likely to become available. So a lot of risks ahead, and we're not really getting a clear message by the ECB as to how it's likely to respond in the coming months.
Let's have a look at the euro now, because the last few weeks we've seen the currency losing steam in its rally and taking its cues from the US dollar. Can the ECB provide any fresh direction for the euro?
Well, we could see some knee-jerk reaction. Of course, hard to predict because on the one hand, if the minutes are a bit more dovish than anticipated, that could hurt the euro in the short term. But then if it does mean that we're more likely to see further stimulus ahead, then that could eventually boost the euro because the economy would do better and vice versa. Now, what kind of signals are we going to get from the minutes? It's really hard to see whether we're going to get something more precise than what we have been already. If we do see a confirmation of those conflicting views, then that could hurt the euro. But on the whole, though, until the ECB decides what it's going to do next, and that's probably not going to come until the December meeting, where we start to see clearer signals, or at least Lagarde may be working harder to reach some kind of a consensus as to what the ECB should do next. Then the euro will probably continue to consolidate and be guided by what's happening with the dollar and with wider risk sentiment.
Rafi, thank you for joining me today, and thank you for watching this Forex Preview on the ECB Minutes out on Thursday here at xm.com.